Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Super-Fanta-Fi. This being a show where we talk about TV shows of the supernatural, fantasy, and/or science fictional genre. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the season finale of The Magicians. Holy shit, a great finale. A lot of stuff went down in this episode, so let's break it down. I love it that they immediately free Julia from the monster within her, and it's like, okay, let's go back so we can juice up again to save Elliot. Oh, lo and behold, Everett literally drained the entire damn lake. And I love Penny being like, there's always a fucking twist. I love that. Obviously, Margot didn't appreciate that. It's kind of a balance because it's like, hey, Josh is back. And I love her being like, the fact of the matter is, things people learn about me, I go through a lot for the people I love. And she's like, and that's the thing, like, I'm not the easiest to deal with, you know, and not as fun when I'm in love. And then Josh is like, ooh. It's so cute and adorable seeing them together. And then obviously she gets pissed at Penny because it's like, oh, Julia can heal and everything, so you didn't save Elliot like you're supposed to. But it's like, boom, Josh can do powerful magic. It's like, right, because he was a fish, so he was inside the lake, so he absorbed all that magic. I guess, like, as long as you don't expend the magic, you're fine, I guess is kind of how that whole situation works. Or maybe it's on a timer in itself. That was interesting. But nevertheless, I love him being like, oh, I got like this fish magic or something like that. And it's like, or you got it from the reservoir. And Margot's like, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. But he's like, it's still pretty cool, though. You have Katie, who wanted to initially die, but then it was a situation of, you know, home dude telling her like, yeah, you can die some other time when people don't need you. Because for Katie, and it's kind of super sad because for her, it's like the only thing she ever lived for, the only thing she felt like what she wanted from her life was to be with Penny. That's all she wanted. And now, yeah, obviously, you know, she's like, I acted so tough, but at the end of the day, being with him is all I ever wanted. But obviously, like, dying isn't an option when so many people need her, so many hedge witches, everything that's going on with the library, even going to Zelda to get the cure and everything. And obviously, she's pissed at Zelda because it's like Everett got to the lake because of you. But for her, it's like, I believed in Everett for so long. It's like, you're so used to being obedient. But she's like, that's not who I am anymore. And, you know, she's like, prove it. Because she's like, I know you're not an evil person. So it's kind of basically time to nut up or shut up type of situation. The cute thing between Alice and Quentin I really like, because he's like, no, maybe you should just, you know, I'll talk around it. Well, I'll go ahead and talk about it. I thought it was really cute, the whole thing of like, oh, you just tell me where the seam is. And she's like, no, because then you'll probably just go by yourself. He's like, I just want to protect you. She's like, I want to protect you. It's like, we have done this whole thing of like saving each other, and it hasn't always worked out. It's had very mixed results. It's like, I think we're better as a team. And so it's like, this time we're going to be there for each other. We're more powerful as a team. I love Margot being like, everyone put your butts together, whatever it is you need to do, because we need to go save the multiverse. And I love Alice being like, how's she know about our thing? And her and Quentin laughing, because it's like, you guys so damn adorable. I love it, dude. It's like, yay! I did mess up and, you know, skip over the whole aspect of them going to the realm where the old gods are, and I love that whole situation. It's the actor who plays Ferg is waiting for them. I'm wondering, was that always how they was supposed? Like, is that like? Because for Josh, I wonder it was him unrolling it and his magic pumping into it, or probably just him touching it. He inadvertently, because obviously he's super juiced up, so I guess the moment he touched it with all the magic inside of him, it just ended up activating it. I love that the person waiting there, he's like, wait, aren't you? Wait, you don't know this binary language? Because I guess there's like a large ass like quest that they can go through that will lead to them into humans making their way to the realm of gods. And it's like, hey, congratulations, you made it. Really quickly, I think I stopped before I explained. It's the actor who played Ferguson from Longmire. I think I left that out. I kind of got sidetracked in my thought, but nevertheless, I love it. And he's like, you guys wanted to meet with the old guys. It's like a chihuahua asking an archangel for a blowjob or something like that was kind of the comparison. They always have a tasteful way of comparing like how small and insignificant humans are compared to the old guys. It's kind of interesting to know what he is. Is he a god himself? Because it seems like he's more like a assistant to the gods or something like that. Whatever his situation. It makes you wonder if he's supposed to be like Hermes or something, like messenger to the god. Totally could be him. Hermes is a god himself too, even though he's a messenger to the god. I guess that depends on the interpretation of like the mythology, because I think in the Hercules cartoon he was a god too, but Well, I think he is a god, because even in the Percy Jackson movie, he was a god as well. Nevertheless, maybe that's who he's supposed to be. I don't think they gave him a name. But I love he gives them help and stuff like that. And I love him being like, you guys are so... Oh, he says, like, you know, there's no way to actually kill these things. You can get rid of them, but you can't kill them. It's like, well, why were they made that if they couldn't be killed? I don't know. Why is a nickel bigger than a dime? And you have Josh being like, yeah, why is that? Why is it bigger than a dime? But I love him pointing at them being stupid, which Josh and Quentin are like, yeah, we are stupid. Tell us about this seam. Apparently, it exists between... this universe and the anti-verse, which is interesting. This is the first time we've heard about this, but this is some of that god level secrets, I guess. And it's like, so we should be near it. It's like, no, just toss them in it and walk away. They end up finding out it's in the mirror world, and it's like, here, you get a consolation prize. And I love while they're explaining this, Josh and Quentin are back, you know, in their universe, talking and telling the whole team about what's going down and eating the cake. And Josh being like, I can never go back to regular cake. After having God cake, it's perfection and everything. And just everyone's looking at them like, excuse, and I love that. But it's an interesting episode in the regard of like, everyone has to work together. Like if they take down the monster inside of Elliot, they'll be able to make it so that everyone, the hedge witches all across the world performing magic together to make it so that the containment spell will hold both the monster and his sister. It's so interesting because Julia kind of explains it that their plan was actually more than just what it was. That it wasn't just about killing the old gods. It was also basically about wiping out humans too, because I guess humans are part of that creation. So it's like, screw our parents, we're going to screw up everything that they have. So they plan on coming after humans too. What's interesting though is obviously like Fogg messed with the monster. And I even love the monster being like, I don't like you, do I? I guess that's some bits of Elliot coming through that it's kind of tapping into, just like it tapped into Elliot's addictions and stuff like that. He's like, I'm not sure about that, but you're really not going to like me now. And it disorientates him. Everyone working together ends up getting the creature out of Elliot. And I love Margot being worried, but it's like, yo, your boy Elliot is fun. It's like, yay! And then you have them going into the mirror world and finding this seam and throwing one in there, but before they could get the other, Everett comes in. It's like, oh, this isn't going to be good. And sadly, at the end, we have Quentin sacrificing himself, mending the broken mirror because that's, you know, his discipline, you know, minor, you know, stuff like that. And he ends up throwing the other jug in there. But because he casts a spell in the mirror world, no matter how small the spell is, obviously it bounces back, and it did I guess every crack that it was fixing was creating more and more magic that was going to bounce back. And the sad thing is, he was telling Penny to get, you know, Alice out of there, and Quentin and Everett both die. You know, it's so heartbreaking because obviously, like, Alice was literally like, don't do this situation, like all the whole thing of saving each other. But it's so sad that it came down to that. I'm like, holy shit. You know, Quentin making that huge sacrifice. And lo and behold, it is him at the end who meets up with Penny. It's like, of course, because I figured I was always leaning towards Katie, but I knew it'd either be him, Elliot, or Quentin when it's all said and done. And, you know, and the sad thing is when Quentin was talking, you know, for him, it's like he was in and out of hospitals, and obviously all that changed when he went to break bills. But for him, it's like, I want to know, did I sacrifice my life for my friends, or did I finally find a way to kill myself? And I'm like, that's so heartbreaking that he even has to think that, you know. And it took Penny showing him. It's so interesting, and I think it's nice, kind of a nice full circle of just kind of like him and Penny at the end, just because it's like, you know, him and Penny have always had their complicated relationship, so to see them kind of where they are at this moment, and then he shows up at the end, and everyone's gathered around the fire and throwing in different things representing Quentin. For Alice, it's the cup he had repaired like a few episodes ago, and then for Katie, it's the book, one of the filigree books he cherished. Margot threw in his crown. Penny, 23, there was an egg that was connected to them. Was that a 23 thing, or was that it had to be a 23 thing. I don't remember exactly what it was. I think I do, but I'm blanking on what it was exactly. And Elliot threw in an apple, remembering the time when they learned the truth about the life they lived in that alternate timeline. Even Fogg being there, burning, I guess, like his, you know, the thing he signed to get into Breakbill is kind of remembering him. And it's a nice little touching song at the end. I even love, you know, Penny being like, see, this is a sincere farewell you're getting. Be happy about that. If I remember correctly, you were laughing when I died. And he's like, I'm sorry about that. He's like, don't worry, dude. I know you. And it's just kind of this touching moment between, you know, everyone singing, obviously, Take On Me and their beautiful rendition of it. Everyone's singing over the somber moment and everything. At the same time, you have everything with Julia, like, basically, you know, Penny had to be the one to make the choice, which he learned from Penny 40, like, when the time comes, just say yes and do it. And he did. And so Julia is a normal human, you know, with no magic. She's not a human. She's not a magician again. She's not a god. And now she has no magic because Penny made that choice. But for him, it's like, I'd make that choice again because I care about you and I can't even think about losing you. So Penny ends up taking Quentin back, and like I said, it's just there's this sweetness to it of just them being together at the end of it all, telling and explaining everything of things are good for everyone, because obviously I guess magic is back in fuller strength now, because like while in teaching a class, magic kind of goes a little wild, and the same thing for Fall when he's looking at the map trying to find magicians, it brightens up. So I guess new magicians are being born because magic is spreading out. Because when Quentin did what he did, I guess the gods as a reward leaked more magic back into the world. Or you could make the argument that's probably like Zelda pushing it so that magic is back into the world again, I guess, you know, because they're no longer restricting it like they were before because Everett's gone. Then Zelda's like, I can't lead the library because she's like, Alice should be the one who does it. They don't talk about it, but I like to think that Zelda went, you know, and tracked down Harriet again, and that they're able to kind of make up for lost time, because Zelda doesn't want to be in a position where she makes the same mistake that Everett did, you know, with all of this. So, and then there's Margot and Elliot who come to Fillory and find out like, oh wait, Fillory isn't in the way they left it, because they're like, oh, we can come reclaim our crowns and stuff like that. Turns out not to be the case. Apparently Finn and Josh got overtaken by someone known as the Dark Knight 300 years ago, because the whole Fillory and Earth thing moving in different places. But like, that's the thing. Like, why is it that time flew forward like 300 years while they were gone? They were doing a whole bunch of other stuff, but still, why did that happen? I don't know. So that's kind of something that was kind of left open. And then, interestingly enough, Julia throws her cards, you know, well, a deck of cards from Quentin. And when she does, she performs the magic spell Quentin performed the first time he's at Breakbills, where he ends up freezing the cards midway. So, and it's kind of interesting because Penny's like, you know, she's human again, which humans feel pain, and through pain, magic is born. And so she has her magic again, and it's like, you know, Penny 23 asking, well, what do you want to do now? And that's the question. What is she going to do now? Because, and I like what Penny 40 had said, that basically everyone here, their lives are better because of you. Kind of showing them like, this is the mark you left on these people's lives. You made their lives better. You made their life better like they made yours better, you know? So kind of giving him the answers like, you now know that what you did wasn't just because you were just trying to kill yourself. You did it because you care about these people and you wanted to protect them, you know? So even at the end, you have that sweet moment of, you have Penny, you know, like just this moment of just like them hugging when he gives Quentin the Metro card for him to kind of move on and stuff like that. It's like, obviously, like there's plenty of mysteries out there, so this next step is something you're gonna have to figure out on your own. And Quentin goes off, and you know, it's all kind of going full circle, which this episode, in all honesty, surprised me, because the way it ends off, it's almost like that almost seems like a series finale type of situation. Which I just looked it up. Nope. The show is coming back for a 5th season, which I'm super excited about. But I was scared because I was like, wait, is this a series finale? It's like, nope, it's coming back for another season, which is crazy because that means the show is most likely going on without Quentin, which is kind of crazy. I was about to say crazy. Because I think obviously in the books, he's the main protagonist. Obviously the show does different things from the books, but I'm curious where they go from here. Like I said, like the biggest like open storyline is about, okay, so who's this Dark Knight that overthrew Finn and Josh? How the hell did that happen? Why did that happen? Obviously, side note too is Margot ended up walking away from this season still having her fairy eye. I think that's going to be something we end up seeing come back in the future potentially. But there's also Alice running the library or whatever new iteration of it is. Obviously, she might be reluctant to do it at first, but maybe everything will make her decide to do it. Maybe she's going to use it as some attempt to try and bring Quentin back. Maybe the same thing for Julia. Like maybe they're all going to work together to try and do that. Obviously, Katie's dealing with the hedge witches. That's kind of become her new life, her new responsibility of kind of leading this group. Obviously, like you have everything with Margot and Elliot, like obviously probably trying to get back their kingdom, fix everything in Philly. Like I'm very curious to see, because we've never, like, it's a somber note to end the season off, but things to a relative scale are not completely fucked. Every season the show ends with everything kind of being seriously fucked. This is probably the most positive things have ever been for a season finale for the Magicians, but I guess it's because it is a closing of Quentin's story. If that is the case, like I'm curious to see whether Quentin will come back or not, whether like maybe he'll be going the entire season and come back at the end, or maybe he won't come back because he has moved on. It's hard to say. I mean, obviously we got introduced because obviously to the realm of the old gods. Obviously Quentin, you know, helped resolve this whole situation with both monsters. We might not be 100% done with them. I mean, obviously you throw something into the seam, there's no coming back from that, at least that we don't know of. I mean, the monsters are unkillable. Like I said, it's just so interesting because, like, I mean, aside from potentially the fillery thing, there's no outright main antagonists that were set up going into the season or a big issue. It's actually kind of interesting, too, because now I'm sitting here thinking about it. That's literally how we went from the transition of Season 2's finale to Season 3 was, like, Julia having magic again. It's kind of interesting that they kind of end off on that note. I guess we're kind of setting Julia up to be kind of like the new main protagonist that we focus on for now. Like I said, that depends on how they roll out Season 5. I'm so curious to see what they have planned and what's going to go down. There's a part of me that was wondering, well, because there was... Who is this leader that stepped up while they were gone? Could it have been like Roderick? Wouldn't he call like the Dark Knight or something? For some part of my head, like when I heard Dark Knight or something, it's like, are they talking about Hades or something? I was like, no, they can't be talking about Hades. We still don't 100% know what Penny's whole situation is too. Like Penny 40, like what his whole deal is. Like, I mean, what does he know that not everyone knows? He knows about what's coming for the future for the rest of the group, but obviously we don't know. So I'm curious to also see where Penny's role ends up being going forward in that same regard. I mean, we kind of did a little bit more of a dive into the mirror world this season, obviously, but with the seam and everything like that, they went through the trouble of setting it up. It does make you wonder, will there be more to that in the future or not? Like, that might be a world they bother never exploring again because it's like, oh, that world's too dangerous. You can't even do magic in there. Maybe there's going to be something else that's, you know, comes from it. Maybe it's even going to be a situation of, you know, once again, maybe not even just the monsters. Maybe something else will find its way out of the seam. Like I said, this is a situation, it's unprecedented territory of like, things ended on a good note. Yes, sad and, you know, with the whole Quentin situation, but things kind of, like I said, ended positively, and it's weird. I don't know how to react to that. I don't know how to react going into a new season with things ending on a positive note in a certain regard. So, ultimately, like I said, we'll have to wait and see what they do with Season 5, but I'm so excited to see what they end up doing. Hell, we might even get introduced to more magicians and stuff that we end up following. Maybe our main protagonists obviously start going off to their respective roles and being kind of like more mentoring positions and stuff, like Katie, for example, which now I'm thinking about it, maybe we'll have Zelda and Harriet kind of rolling with the hedge witches now, potentially, you know. That could be, I mean, especially because Harriet's kind of down that world, and, you know, maybe Zelda want to expand her horizons and kind of make up for the lost time between her and her daughter. So stuff like that, and obviously Alice being leader at the library potentially. So stuff like that, maybe we'll get introduced and follow a new batch of magicians, almost like a soft reboot, but not even being like a soft reboot, just an introduction of new characters, kind of like a Misfits thing of like a new cast potentially. I'm not saying we're getting rid of the old cast, but maybe it's a situation of they could potentially be like I said, a mentoring position to new people coming in, or maybe it's just like we keep the old cast while also introducing other new people as well. Like I have no idea. The sky's the limit with what they might have in store for a 5th season. But really, that's all I want to talk about. To the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.